What's going on, guys? And welcome to another episode of Alan K Show. And today we got a very, very special guest, one of the amazing human beings on the planet, probably, next to the Mother Teresa.
Oh my gosh. No pressure.
No, but this guy has closed 900 transactions in the past 16 years, over $200 million in sales. He runs a very solid, very successful team here in the Valley. He's got 13 agents, 5 staff members. They're going to do about 160 transactions this year for about $60 million. And this guy is just like, he's got a family, 3 beautiful daughters, a supporting wife, 1 dog. And he's going to share his journey. He's going to share everything that he's been doing in the past 16 years to grow and scale his business. We got Mr. Juan Grimaldo.
Thank you so much for having me. That was awesome. I didn't know I was that great, but in reality, it's the team that makes us look good, right?
That's right. People around us.
100%.
So tell us about your journey, how it's all started back in 2007, man.
So back in 2005, we're going to go a couple years behind
2005, yeah.
Yes. So I did every job you can imagine. By the way, I'm a high school dropout. So I had to feed the family. I got married when I was 21 years old. So with no skill, no abilities, just, whatever I could do to work. And in my journey, after working in restaurants, I worked for the garbage company, I worked for anything you can imagine. And then at one point I was working for Rent-A-Center, which they sold, they rented furniture. Yeah. And when I worked there, I went to make a deposit at a bank. And the manager asked, Juan, do you know anyone that may be thinking about, joining a bank? We need bilingual people. And I said, me?
Yeah.
Come on. I'm like, yeah. Because I was the assistant manager of the store, so I used to go make deposits. So I said, yeah, I'm interested, man. I want to get a change. I enjoy what I do, but I think that sounds really cool. Well, anyways, he sends me it was Bank One at the time. I applied. They give me the job. 2 weeks later, I'm training at the bank. In that time, actually, Bank One was bought out by Chase.
Yeah.
And that's where the journey started. They started training me and teaching me how to be a banker, an investment advisor, learning how to do loans, home lines of credit, home equity lines of credit. So I became fascinated by this business. Yeah. The only problem was that they didn't pay very well. So
how much were they paying you?
$12.50 an hour.
$12.50. That's back in 2005, 2006.
2005. So I did it for a year. I learned a ton. And at one point, we used to go to these businesses to open up accounts. We would ask for permission and just go open up accounts. We get points for every account that we open or loan or whatever. And the commissions were super small. Yeah. I didn't know any better. So for me, they were cool, right? I was trying to do as much as I could. And when I went to one of the businesses, one of the girls that went with me, her husband worked there. And he was driving a water truck for this construction company. And I asked him, so what does it look like, man? He's like, well, it's pretty good. I put in a lot of overtime. There was a lot of construction back then, if you remember.
Yeah.
And I says, and how much you make? $20 an hour. I'm like, what? I said, how can I get in there? He's like, go get your license, and I can get you a job here. So I did. I went and got the license, but I didn't have a truck to do the test with.
Yeah.
So one of my buddies worked at it's called Parks and Sons. It's a garbage company over in Sun City.
Okay.
And they work the Sun City area. I don't know if you've noticed, but on the driveways, they have a hole where in that hole there's a garbage can.
Yeah, yeah.
So that people step on the can and it opens up so they can throw the garbage and they don't have to get down or whatever.
Yeah.
So the job was to pick up the garbage, put it in a big barrel that you had on a dolly, and you would go from house to house. You would run literally in the middle of the summer. So I had the great idea to apply for a job there, and I said, you know what? I got my license. All I need is to pass the test, and I'll be working for you guys.
Yeah.
And they said, sure, we'll give you a job. You have to start running. And I'm like, oh my gosh. It was so brutal. I would have nightmares about it because the streets were so long and I had to do what I had to do. So I spent about a month. They allowed me to take the test. They gave me a truck.
Yeah.
And I said, goodbye. I'm like, this is it. So I applied at the other place. They gave me the job working at a construction company. When this happened, the banker, at this point, already purchased my first home. And the guy who helped me buy the house, he approached me and says, Juan, I noticed that you left the bank. have you considered, continuing your career in lending? And I'm like, what does that look like? So he's like, come on over. So I went and checked it out. The commissions were astronomical compared to $200 that I would get for a $200,000 deal. And I'm like, where do I sign? So I started doing loans. This is back in 2006, and working in the construction job site. So my clients became the people that worked with me. But then I had the idea of getting my real estate license because I don't like chasing people for paperwork and all this and all that. However, it was a great foundation both ways, right? From the bank to here.
Yeah.
I actually closed the loans in the bank. I used to do the signings and everything.
Yeah.
So I decided to get my license in 2007. Best time in the world to jump into real estate. And then a few months later, the market crashes. And, luckily, and I was blessed. What I want to say is it was luck, but I was blessed enough to have that job that would pay me very well.
Yeah.
And for the rest of the crisis, I was on and off in that construction job site for a while. And
still doing real estate.
While still doing real estate.
Are you doing any type of real estate? I mean, were you selling real estate at that time, 2008, 2009?
Sales.
Short sales. So you were doing short sales.
Yeah, I did short sales. I worked with a few investors.
Yeah.
People were scared. It was a very weird moment. I don't know if you remember. You've been in real estate for a long time.
So I got my license in 2013, but I over leveraged myself personally, buying a bunch of properties in 2006, 2005. And then, of course, what happened in 2007 and 2008, right? I lost everything.
Wow.
Like I had 5 properties that all went to foreclosure. One was a short sale.
You were the only one, man. We lost 2 homes back then. Same thing. So it was brutal, right?
Yeah, it was horrible.
So I used to go to these properties, man. At one point, I actually went to show a house, and they left the dog there. So I took the dog with me. I feel bad about it, but it was interesting. So I got my license in 2007. And I continued to kind of fiddle with real estate. I never jumped in 100% because I didn't know what I didn't know, right? There was a lot of agents doing REOs, doing amazing businesses. So fast forward 2011, after I was praying so much to God to say, you know what, I want to do this 100%. So 3 times I went in and tried to go full-time, and I came back. I got scared. So I would go back and go back to work. So this last time, I was working at another company that was very dangerous. I was hauling oil, and they gave me the oldest beat-up truck, and I had a little incident where I was driving it, and it had these rails, and I told them that they were loose at one point, and they never listened to me. So one of the rails falls off along with a dolly. I didn't know where. So I get to the yard. I'm missing the dolly and one of the rails, and I'm like, oh my gosh, did I just kill someone? I was scared. So I get back in my car, and I go. So I was leaving the job site. This guy comes up, says, "Hey, I found the dolly. I saw it when it fell, and it didn't hurt anybody. It was fine." But obviously, I got fired. I've never in my life have I ever gotten fired. And I said, "You know what, God? I got the message." I went in full time 2011. I don't know if you remember how great the market was back then. Properties were selling for $30,000, $50,000. So I was making more money for rentals than even resale.
Really?
And then remember the short sales, how short they were?
Yeah.
They were super long. It would take a year, year and a half.
Yeah.
And so I hustled a lot. I mean, I tell the team about a story where I helped this client buy 2 cash properties for $55,000. And sometimes they complain about the commissions and the $300,000 deals, right? They're so low.
Yeah.
Well, I had to take 6 of those to make, the amount of money they make now. So $50,000 homes back then, $300,000 now.
No.
And they were paying me 2.5 commission.
Yeah.
So again,
it's
negotiable.
Yeah.
But my point with that is that, you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know how good you have it or how bad you have it. But when you go through these kinds of times, they build you up.
Yeah.
Like, what can I complain about? When I hear them complain now that the market is bad.
Yeah.
How bad is it?
Here, real quick, if you're a licensed real estate agent in the state of Arizona, I want to talk to you about my brokerage, Best Homes Real Estate. Best Homes Real Estate is looking to partner with agents that are looking for better support, better tools, better resources in growing their business. If that sounds like you at all, here's what I would like you to do. All right, click on the link below, book a call with me, and I'll share with you exactly what does it look like to work with us and partner with us. Talk to you soon. Now back to the show. So on that point, right, so one of the primary reasons I think agents fail is because of lack of will and lack of skill. Right? In your situation during that period of time, you said, hey, you know what, I hustled, like I worked. Like, what did it look like? Like if let's say there's an agent right now listening to this, right? Like, what did it look like for you back in 2011, 12, where you were selling $30,000 homes, $50,000 homes, like the commissions were very minute, very small, right? And you had to like sell like 4, 5, 6 of them in order to make a living. You know, what was your day look like at that time? Like, you know, how many hours a day, how many hours a week? Like, just kind of share all that.
So back in 2011, when I went full time, the first thing I did is I went to the gym and I paid for a full year membership. But that's because I was sitting in the truck all the time, I was a little bigger. And
how much did you weigh at that time?
About 238.
238.
I'm about 220.
Okay.
And so I used to go to the chiropractor, and he says, dude, if you don't get rid of that belly, your back's going to keep hurting because you don't have muscle. And it's just heavy.
Yeah.
So the first thing I did, I went to the gym and I paid for a full year so that I wouldn't have the chance to cancel next month because now whatever, right? So I did that. And then so every morning I would be in the office by 8 doing floor time, waiting to see who would come in or make a phone call. And then I would make calls to people that I knew, and just ask if they were thinking about buying or selling or they know someone.
Yeah.
And little by little, the first year I think I made like $25,000.
So the first year you made $25,000.
Yeah. And and actually was broke by January again. And luckily I got a check from the IRS because I didn't make so much.
Was your wife working at that time?
No.
No. So how were you surviving on $25,000 a year?
I was blessed enough that I lost the 2 homes, and I borrowed money from my mom and my in-laws to buy a property for $65,000. So my payment was $500. I had a car that was paid off.
Yeah.
So everything that I did wrong before, which again, the things that you go through in these times kind of teach you a lesson as to how to exactly and not to do the same stupid things you were doing. So I was blessed enough, and I think you were too, to lose properties when we were at a good age where we can recover. But imagine the people that were in their 50s, 60s, and they lost it all. You know, there was a lot of people committing suicide.
Yeah.
So I took that as a blessing, and I took that as a don't get so complacent. And I actually posted that this morning on Facebook. Don't get complacent because you never know what life's going to bring at you. So I work and get up every day like I'm broke.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Every single morning. And what I do is I invest.
Yeah.
But anyways, going back to my day, so I would go to the office at 8 and work until, we get a deal or we get an appointment or we get something because I had no choice. How can I get home and say, we didn't sell anything today? Right? I didn't do many open houses. I'm not a fan still.
So you're in the office, working from the office, which, by the way, most of the agents right now don't work from the office, right? So working from the office, were you on a team or like a solo agent?
No, I was solo. And
so no team, no mentor?
Nothing. And this is the reason I started a team. Well, it became a necessity, right? I was doing so much business that I couldn't do it by myself.
Yeah.
Back then I would ask one of the short sale specialists, how do you do it? How do you get business? Oh, I can't show you. I can't tell you. And I'm like, what? But anyways, I became so good at sales that the following year, I asked them, so what am I paying you all this, split for? And
the broker?
The broker.
Yeah.
At this point, I was doing a little bit better. And the second year, I did $60,000 in sales. And she says, oh, by the way, we have the A team, but you have to do this, and that to get leads from USAA, what was the other bank? Credit union. It's a federal credit union. And then what else was there? Relocation specialist. So I had to take a training and I had to qualify. I had to sell so many deals, do this, and that.
Yeah.
Which I did.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I qualify. So I used to walk with a victim mindset. And at this point, it was real. Like I felt that I'm Hispanic, I'm Mexican, and I was the only in that office. And there was about 400 agents. And I said, well, I would love to be part of that. And I qualified, and that changed my business to the next level because I was hungry. And I delivered, and I learned. And I would go to every training that would be to all even the CE class that I didn't need. If I saw that it was something that would help me with my skill or my business, I would go and take it.
Yeah.
So I started investing in myself, and it paid off. I mean, I went from, that making 60 to 150. And then I saw another opportunity to go with another brokerage. It's a good friend of mine, AC Araujo, and I went with them. Great coach. And went to 200, 350, and the rest is history. So little by little, it started generating more and more business.
Yeah.
But I think if I can say that I can attribute my success to is learning. I mean, you and Gary Keller mentioned this in his book, Millionaire Real Estate Agent. You have to learn to earn. You know, how many years does it take a doctor to go to school?
Yeah.
To practice his trade.
Yeah.
And we as real estate agents go to school for 2 weeks, get a license, and here you go.
Yeah.
You're off to the races. You can start selling real estate.
Right. No, I mean, definitely like immersing ourselves and developing the skills that are required to go out there and help people, right, and generate the income that we deserve to generate at the end of the day,
100%.
right? But also, I think that the key thing to remember is the fact that you got to have the patience and longevity. Because, like, for you to make that $200,000, it didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. It
like
took
4 years, 5 years.
4 or 5 years, and it's hard work. It's patience, dedication. It's overcoming all the obstacles that are heading your way every single day in order for you to make that kind of money, right?
Exactly.
And it's kind of interesting because I think I had a conversation with an agent a couple of days ago. You know, he jumped from one lead source to another, to another, to another, to another in the last 3.5 months.
Wow. That's not feasible.
And the analogy I gave was like, imagine, for example, you're drilling for oil, and you know you have to drill deep to get that oil, right? 100 feet, 200 feet, 300 feet, whatever is necessary, right? So I said, what you're basically doing is you're digging 1 foot holes all over the field, and you're not getting anywhere. You're just wasting time by just drilling like 1 foot holes
100%.
instead of just being deep, long, and patient with one hole.
Definitely. And you got to track your sources. One of the things that I learned early enough is, do you want to be everybody's agent or do you want to build a tribe? And again, reading.
Right.
That's another great book, Tribes by Seth Godin. And what we do is we work with our sphere. How do we give back to the people that help us get there?
Yep.
So we do seminars. Tomorrow, as a matter of fact, we're doing a seminar. And then Sunday, we're taking them on a boat party. We call them ambassadors, people that have referred us more than 3 people or that have done 3 or more transactions. And we want to reward them, right? Because they provide for our families. How can we give back to them? So that's key. You have to, it's just like the axe, right? If I give you a forest and I give you an axe, you're going to hit, every single tree, or you're going to hit one tree and until you knock it down. So for us, it's huge. And we our database is our main source of business.
So how much, like right now, year to date, we're sitting here at the end of September, right? You guys closed on 130 transactions. $47 million in sales volume. These are big numbers. I mean, the market is tough. It's been tough for the last couple of years, right?
If you say so.
But I mean, you guys are crushing it, right? You're doing phenomenally well. So, what is the source of your business aside from the sphere? Like, and how do you work your business? How do you work your sphere, and how you generate leads in general?
Again, we give back. So we have seminars every quarter. We do events.
When you say seminars, like what is covered, what is taught during those seminars?
We had first-time homebuyer seminars, and we did trust. We're doing one for trusts, and we also brought one of our friends who's an investor. He owns over 300 homes. Shout out to Zach.
Okay.
Zach Keeps, you know him?
No.
He's a celebrity out there, Zach.
Okay.
But anyways, we brought him over to speak and open up people's eyes. I'm an investor. I own several rental properties.
Yeah.
I'm doing it the wrong way now, the right way. I did it the wrong way before.
Yeah.
And we want to show our clients how they can also create wealth through home ownership using leverage. So we do events, different types. So we try to mix it up with different subjects so that we can attract and also cater to different needs that people may want or have. We wanted to talk about trust because some of our clients or friends are dying, and that's something that's going to happen to all of us.
Sure.
And when they die, they don't have a will, they don't have a trust, and now they have to go fight the government to get their property. So that's how we work our database, and we call them, and we're of service. Like, we provide value to them. We've met in our database. We have several contractors, electricians, plumbers, you name it. We have it. And if we don't have it, we'll find it for you. So we become like Angie's List, right? So we're Juan's list or Grimaldo's
like
list.
Like a hub. Yeah.
Exactly.
Interesting. So how much are you involved in that process? Like for example, I had a Rebecca Durfee on a podcast like 2 months ago, right? And I mean, she does 80 to 100 transactions, I think, year over year, right?
That's
and
awesome.
it's her. She's got a small team, and like 95% of her business comes from like her sphere, her past clients, right? I think she's got about 1,200 or 1,400 people in her database, right? And she knows every single client by name, and she remembers every single's like client's purchase, like the house, this and that, right? So she's super involved, right? Like, is that the same way for you? Like you're involved and connected to pretty much every client, especially those that are brand ambassadors?
It used to be. I don't show homes anymore. I haven't shown homes in a while, and it's. I don't think I can do the greatest job if I'm involved in every single transaction. So we have 13 team members, which they take different clients. Some of them have worked with them before, and our clients already call them to send another referral, so they just continue to work with them. And I think they do a better job because I have my head in so many things. It would be impossible for me to have that. Now, the people that I work with, I remember their names, their kids, the situation. I have lots of great stories that I've been able to and blessed to be part of.
Yeah.
A lot of success stories, and a lot of, some sad stories, but it's really cool what we do, and it gets me a little emotional at that point because like I want to be part of that still. Yet if I do that, I wouldn't be able to provide the services and to more people if it was just me, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, but I have deep respect for our clients, and I would be doing a bad service or a disservice to them if I was trying to do everything for them, right? I used to wear every hat. And I feel like having that leverage is amazing. I just met with a couple agents that are super successful. We're going to have other meetings with them. And I said, here's my ops manager. She puts things on my calendar. She holds me to them. And that way I can leave that off. And instead of me putting it in the calendar, doing all the mechanical stuff, we have leverage, which one of the things that I can thank Gary Keller for is having that mindset where you don't have to do it all. There's people that can do it better than you can. Like I just showed you the numbers. I wouldn't be able to have that if I didn't have my staff. Yeah. They're amazing. I mean, everything's 100%. I can see to the day, like as we were looking.
Yeah, you went from 128 to 130.
Right.
Yep, exactly.
So it's really neat to have somebody help you and having multiple people help you so you can provide more services to more people.
Yeah.
And one thing that is powerful, last night we had a meeting with a client that came in to sell a lot and buy a lot.
Yeah.
Well, she's not selling that lot, and they're actually buying another lot, and they're buying 3 more homes. We open up their eyes to the possibilities, and the beauty of learning is that how can you provide that service where you're not just the door opener, right? Where you're not just selling their home. Like, what is the next step? How can I help you get there? How can I, just like an attorney or an accountant, they're going to provide you with the right advice for you to get in a better position, right? And a lot of agents think about their commission. What I tell my agents is, if you focus on delivering the best service possible to your clients, the end result is you're going to get paid. So do not even worry about getting paid.
Yeah.
So for me, that's huge. I mean, providing an amazing experience. And trust me, we're not there yet. So that's the beauty of having the team. And we're just, tweaking tools here and there to make sure that, the nuts and bolts are getting tight and adjusted so that we can provide that experience.
Right. So let's talk about your team. You said you have 13 agents on a team, right? Now, these agents, they do a combination of both, like working with the buyers and the sellers, or just strictly buyers?
They can do both.
They can do both. And then you have 5 staff members, right? So how does that look like? Like you have an operations manager? Who else?
So we have an operations manager, we have a listing coordinator, a buyer's coordinator, and then we have a concierge, and then my daughter who does the office management. She takes care of everything in the office.
And you guys have like the actual physical office.
We go to work every day, brother.
Every single day.
You cannot replace that. We were just talking about it with these agents that are super successful. Some people think that just using the screen and everything, it's cool. It's really awesome. But you don't having this
interaction,
belly to belly interaction.
Yep.
It's invaluable. And I feel like you can gain more trust. It's very easy to get distracted when you're on the computer, right? You hear something, you're like covering your mouth or whatever. There's nothing that will replace that. And also, you can read people's body language, right?
100%.
How comfortable are you with me? Are we getting there? Are we making a connection?
Yeah.
And when you're
it's the energy thing, right?
100%.
Like it's tough to really kind of feel that energy when you're like via Zoom. Like when they're there in that room, you can feel it. So these agents that you got, that they're coming to the office every day?
They do.
Okay, what does it look like? Like they come to the office. Like, do they have like a specific like a task list? I mean, what are they doing?
So we have a page where we do generate leads, and they get on the phones. So from 8 to 10, our goal is to prospect. 10 on Mondays we have a meeting from 11 to 12, 12:30 sometimes. And then on Thursday, we have a call night. So we do that every Thursday. Monday through Thursday, we do script practice and role play every morning.
Every morning?
Every morning, buddy. Wow. I mean, you have to practice your trade, right? I think Abraham Lincoln said that if I'm going to get 6 hours to chop a tree, I'm going to spend like the first 4 or 5 hours, sharpening my axe.
Yeah, that's right.
And how can you go out there and chop a tree with a dull axe? So we have to sharpen our axe and also deliver, again, amazing service.
Yeah, that's exactly what we used to have with my team, man. At one point, we had 15 agents on my team. That's exactly. They would show up every single morning, 8 o'clock in the morning for half an hour role playing. And then from 8:30 to 10:30, that's what they're doing. They're prospecting, they're calling.
100%. And you have to know your trade. You have to follow the research. So the best time to get a hold of someone is between 8 and 9.
Yeah.
And then your odds drop. And then same on the leads, right? So you have to know all these things and understand why you're doing what you're doing. For me, it's always been like that. You tell me to do something, what's the purpose?
Yeah.
If I don't know the purpose, I'm going to do it bad. But if you tell me the purpose, I'm going to do it 110% better, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to show to our team members, and also create that culture of you have to know your trade. Imagine your client knows more, which happened to me the other day. I don't show homes, right? So this man that I met at the gym, he says, Juan, I want to go see these properties. They're brand new. So I go and he knows more than I do. How do I look? Right? So that's why I don't show homes anymore. Like I let my team members, they're out there, they know the reps, they know the deals. So it's you have to stay in your lane.
Yeah. The more you do it, the better you're going to get.
100%.
Right. So I talk to my agents all the time. I was like, you guys are not really in real estate business. You're in lead gen business. Right. So what you're saying is I got my agents, my team members come in every single day, and from 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock, they are prospecting, they lead generating, right? Real estate sales, Juan, is it's the byproduct, it's the result of lead gen. Why do you think more agents don't really realize that or accept that or really actually focus on lead gen? If they would just generate leads on a daily basis, regardless, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a day, but laser focused, super intentional, man, most of their pipelines would be full, and they're going to be closing deals. Why most agents are not generating leads on a consistent basis?
I think they got in with the wrong approach, right? Or the wrong idea of how to create business. Let me give you a couple examples. One of them is we went to a training. I have Commission Sync, which is a platform to get leads.
I used to use that.
Right. Yep. So we went to their training. I said, everybody has to pay for it. So you guys so you go and pay attention. Not only that, so you can learn how to use the platform. So as we were sitting there, one of my agents says, Juan, when is the right time to ask people about business? And we were having breakfast, and at that point, the waitress comes up, and I says, can I ask you a question? And she's like, sure. Do you own a home? She's like, no, are you renting? Yeah. Would you like to own a home? Sure. Would you like to know how? Definitely. All right. Can we get your information? It's that easy. It's that easy. Yeah. I mean,
that's it.
But we overcomplicate it. And you going back to lead generation, one of the things that Gary Keller also mentions is that we have 2 jobs in any profession. You're a great doctor, but you don't have patience. How good of a doctor are you? Right?
Yeah.
But if you're a doctor, you need to prospect for patients.
Yeah.
Right? You need to go find them.
Yeah.
How? I mean, we have a marketing guy here, right?
Yeah.
What is he going to do? He's going to go and try and find those people. Mm-hmm. Well, you as an agent, how are you going to get your business going? They're gonna know you're an agent. Even people that one of my agents, it's funny because he repeats it quite a bit, and he's pissed off that his neighbor went and bought with someone else. And I'm like, did you ever call him and tell him, hey, he knew I was an agent. Did you remind him? No. Because people forget about you, forget what you do. Yeah. How many landscapers you think I know? A ton. How many do I think of when people call me and ask me, and I tell them, please, see how I call you? Because I call them. I prospect everybody.
Yeah.
I sold properties to home warranty people, to my title escrow officers, to my loan officers. Everyone's a prospect, and I tell them every single person needs a home.
Yeah.
And every single person knows 4 people that are going to buy a home in the next 12 months.
Yeah.
But if you don't know that, you need to go read. You need to go and learn.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, I tell my agents all the time, dude, a lead to relationships. Relationships lead to more leads.
100%.
Right?
It's simple.
For some reason, they stuck on the relationship piece, which is the sphere. And I was like, look, the sphere is great, but there's got to be much more than just there's a cap.
You have a cap.
There's a cap, right? And then if you're talking about brand new agents, young agents, especially in their 20s, most of their sphere, they're not really in a market to sell or buy. So you got to find other ways of generating leads.
Definitely.
Right?
And I think right now we have the greatest, easiest way to get business. having a YouTube channel, having your social media up to date. I'm terrible because I post my political views and all that stuff, and some people may not like it, but I'm still there. But they have so many avenues that are free, right? How much would it cost to go on TV, back in the olden days, and also to go on radio, which now you have the radio. People don't listen.
Well, what's it, a Russell show, right? I mean, you used to you used to spend like hundreds of thousands of dollars on a monthly basis for TV commercials, right?
Yeah.
Now, you can just do a video, you can post it on YouTube, it goes viral, and man, you're generating leads left and right.
Definitely.
Like I got an agent right in my company, and she's primarily focusing on Asian market, with that Taiwanese chip plant. Most of our clients are coming from there.
That's awesome.
Where do they find her? Aside from the referrals, but initially they found her because she's doing YouTube videos in Chinese, educating them on the market or the environment or the neighborhoods around the chip plant.
What's around where I live? Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
YouTube videos.
100%.
And people from Taiwan watch it and they reach out to her.
They look, okay, where am I going to live when I get there? What is there to eat? What are the fun places to go? And they go to YouTube to find all that. And you can be that person.
So let me ask you this. All right, let's say, for example, if you were to start again, over again, let's say, not that much of experience, brand new license agent in a different market, no sphere, no past clients. How would you do it?
I would find a good mentor. I would see who the best guy in town is, and I would go tell him, I'll work for free. I'll work with you for free, and I wouldn't, just let me work with you.
So find a mentor.
Find a mentor. I think that's what we're doing with our agents.
How do you know if that mentor is the right mentor for you, though?
Again, now knowing what I know, I will find out right away. But if I don't know anything, I would just find the best agent in town. And again, I would see his character, and as we work, I would realize, maybe I'm in the right place or not.
Yeah.
But training is the most important part when it comes to this business, because most people don't know what they're doing. I mean, you come out of the real estate school, what you learn has nothing to do with what we're going to be doing out here. And once you're out, because I tell my clients, my agents, the first thing you have to do is convince someone to sit down with you. How easy is that? It's not easy, right? And especially strangers, that's even worse. People they hang up your phone. I do that too. Then when they sit down with you, they have to be willing to give you their private information, right? And if they do, then you have to take them shopping. Mm-hmm. When you take them shopping, you have to sell them on the house, right? And why they buy the house. And you have to regroup sometimes because they go back and forth, they get scared. Then you get them on the contract, and then you go to the inspections. So it's a whole process, right? Then you get the appraisal, and then you get their cousins that say, you know what, the market's going to crash. You got to wait. The rates are going to drop, and you fight every single thing.
They have to like you. They have to trust you, right? They have 100%. To respect your knowledge and expertise, right? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, if you think about it, the reason they're using us, those are the things, right? But also for validation purposes.
Yep.
For validation purposes. That's why I don't think, for example, with cars right now, you can buy on Carvana a car that ships in 1 day or 2 days, whatever it is. You can buy a bunch of things from Amazon. You can see it. You can read the reviews. When it comes to buying a home, right, it's much more than just looking at the pictures. You got to go. You got to feel it. You got to touch it. You got to see it. But more importantly, you want to ask that agent who's supposed to be professional in the industry and who knows the neighborhood, what are your thoughts on this house?
Yep.
Am I making the right decision? Am I making the right investment?
Definitely.
That's the validation piece of it. And I think that's the most important thing as an agent. And if you know what you're doing and you're confident, right, you're going to be very successful in this business.
And you're not going to be showing 1,000 homes because
you're
going
not,
to listen.
Exactly.
And I think one of the biggest things is we don't listen. And I was guilty of that for a long time. And I think that was one of my, and even though I wasn't listening as much, I was successful. But one of the things that I learned early on is you have to pay attention to what your client's telling you. You have to find out what's important to them. And going back to delivering the best quality service, it comes down to, am I really hearing what they're saying? Am I really following what they want? Because if you do, it's going to be easy.
Yeah.
And you're going to be able to coach them when they get that buyer's remorse, right? I mean, it says, why are you buying this property? Remember why, you're not going to be renting anymore. Right now, we have a lot of people that are in their 50s, 60s, and they don't own a home. And they're going to get to the retirement age, and they're going to be working the rest of their life. Because I had some that they could approach me and say, I want to buy a house because my rent's so high. Well, yes, they're going to be able to afford that mortgage payment, but barely. Now, imagine that. They're going to be working for a while. But if they don't make that decision now, I mean, these are impactful decisions that you're going to help your clients make.
Huge.
And even for younger people, how can you start that at a younger age? One of my youngest agents, 21-year-old, he owns a home already. I mean, he bought his first house. He's working on getting a second one.
Yeah.
And that just gives me so much more energy to say, you know what, I want to continue doing this and do it for the right reasons, right? The money is going to come. If you do the right thing for the people, at the end of the day, you're going to get paid.
Yeah, yeah. So going back to your agents, right? So they're prospecting. Who are they calling?
Most of them are strangers.
Most of them are strangers.
Yeah, the first thing when an agent comes in, and if you're an agent, if you're newer, the first thing you want to do is call your sphere. I tell people, open up your phone. Go all the way down. If you have an Apple, I don't know if you have a Droid, I'm sorry. But if you have an iPhone, go all the way down on your contacts, find out how many contacts you have.
Yeah.
If you have 100 contacts, that's 400 deals. Every person you know knows at least 4 people that are going to buy or sell, plus that person that may be.
Okay, so let's say they go through that list. None of them are, at this point, are interested in buying or selling, or maybe they don't know anybody or whatever it is, right? What's the next step?
We have open houses.
Open houses?
We have the page where we generate leads.
Okay.
And then they work with my clients.
Got it. So open houses, I love open houses. Like if you drop me right now in the middle of nowhere and just tell me find a deal in the next 30 days, I'll do open houses every single day.
Is that how you did your business when you started? Or
No, I started with expireds and cancels. I started expireds, cancels, and open houses, right? So the way I came across the open house opportunity is my first listing, expired listing, was right off 83rd Avenue and Camelback.
Okay.
$100,000 listing. I sold it. It felt like it was $1 million listing because it was my first listing. After 6 months of cold calling and getting rejected, finally I was able to get a listing. $100,000 listing, $2,500 commission check on a listing side. But the buyer's agent pulled up in a beautiful car. I think it was like Mercedes-Benz, like a pearl white color, older gentleman, probably in his 50s, whatever it is. And I was like, hey, like, how do you get your business? He's like, oh, I do open houses. I was like, open houses? Before that, I was talking to the agents in the office. They're like, oh, it's a waste of time or this and that. He's like, yeah, like I treat open houses like an office work. I go in, I do 4 or 5 open houses a week. I was like, really? Like, how many deals do you close? He's like, oh, I'm going to close like about 40, 45 deals. I was like, I'm doing open houses. I'm doing open houses. Like, so the next day I reached out to the agents in my office. Nobody had a listing available for some reason. And then I reached out to another agent who was not part of my brokerage. The guy was with Long Realty. And there was a house right across the street from my house. And at that time I was renting in Anthem Country Club. I don't know if you've ever been to Anthem Country Club, but it's a guarded community. So that listing's been there like for 60 days. I reached out to him. He's like, yeah, go knock yourself out. Yeah. So dude, that first open house with 5 signs that I borrow from the guy, from the listing agent, and I told the security guards to let the people in, I was able to pick up a buyer/seller. And that buyer and seller, I look back for the last 11 years, we probably did 11 or 12 transactions.
That's awesome.
Like I made over $100,000 from them, like alone.
Beautiful tip they gave you.
Right? Exactly. So not my listing, right? Not my signs, in a guarded community, but a grace of God or luck, you can call it, but you make your own luck. You know, I actually decided to make, to do an open house. I was able to generate 11 additional transactions out of that open house. So I love open houses. I think every single agent, especially with the weather is getting really nice outside, man, you should be doing open houses.
I mean, you have people walking up to you telling you that they're looking to buy.
It's like a storefront.
Exactly.
Like you open that storefront, you may get a customer in the door.
Definitely.
Right?
100%. I think we didn't do as many open houses before, and we're doing a few more now. But again, I can't force them to do them, right? And I think they feel like it's a lot of work. To me, if I was starting, I would do open houses like you said, 100%.
A lot of work to do what?
There's not just
like
sitting there.
I pass the community going to my house, and there's a custom home that's being built, right? In the morning when I go to the office, I see the guys on the roof. And in the evening, after 5 o'clock, going home, I see the guys on the roof.
Right.
The same guys.
That's work. That's hard work.
That's 110 degrees outside, and they're on the roof. That's hard work.
Not only that, the amount of money.
That's hard work.
100%.
Right? I mean, putting out 10 or 15 signs outside and being in a nice air-conditioned house, right? I mean, I don't know, man. Plus, you can do other things while you're like at the open house. Like if it's not,
you can
busy,
make phone calls. You can
make phone calls.
Yeah.
You can market. You can do a quick video reel, whatever it is. You can do a bunch of other things while you're at open house. Why not do 3-4 open houses a week?
If you don't have any business, you have to be doing it 100%.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, action causes reaction, right? If you're there, shaking the tree, you're gonna get some business. And I feel like that's, again, going back to when you asked me, why do people don't do this? Why do agents don't do this? It just blows my mind. I mean, there's so many things you can be doing, and they get paralysis from analysis, right? Okay, what should I do? Can I do this, that? A video is a lot easier. I'll do a video. And then what, right? Go out there, do everything. When you're starting, you have to just test and see what's your niche. For me, I rather sit out. I can talk to more people on the phone. I think I build my sphere so much that I actually get business from that. So I'm phasing out little by little, but I still like the thrill of the hunt. So I'm still in production when it comes to making my phone calls. Every morning I make my phone calls.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Again, going back to the lead gen, because again, I think that's really the Achilles heel for a lot of agents. Like honestly, like,
but that's the main source of revenue. Like if you cannot create business if you don't prospect.
Like, and and the agents are like, man, this lead sources suck. This one doesn't do this and that. I was like, look, honestly, like most of the lead sources out there are pain in the ass, especially in the beginning stages.
True.
Why? Because like you don't know anything about your skill, right? Like you're not really believing it, right? You got to believe it, right? You got to take time and weeks and weeks and weeks to get it going, right? And that's the whole point, right? Mastery. People use the word mastery. What is mastery? Mastery is when you're doing it over and over and over, getting your ass kicked over and over again, but every single time through iterations, you're just getting better and better and better and better.
You're polishing the machine.
Right? My first 6 months as a listing agent, brand new, I went probably on a bunch of listing appointments. I didn't get any of them. But every single time I would go, I would get a little bit better and better and better and better. And finally, I got a $100,000 listing.
100%. There's Ross O'Shea I went to, and I heard him speak at one point. He says, you got to get to the table. The more you get to the table, it's okay if you fail. The more you get to the table, the better you're going to get. And how many times do you think I failed too? Like I fail forward. I failed and I failed. Okay, what did I say last time? How can I polish that? What could have made a difference when I had that conversation? And then, like right now, yesterday, from a land sale, came 3 deals that are going to come out of there. So your skill gets you there. It's not going to be that overnight, but the more you practice, the more you're at the table. And I love doing this with my agents because they get their minds blown. I was talking to the agent, and she's like, oh my gosh, I was just trying to process all the stuff you told her. And the buyers were like, oh my gosh, this is so great. We've been thinking about it. We've been talking about it. We didn't know where to start. Yeah. So you can be a huge resource if you know your skill, but it's going to take time. I mean, overnight success takes about 10 years, right?
Easy.
So
easy, 10 years. I mean, but it's not an easy work. Mm-mm. It's not an easy work.
But you got to go back. So 10 years of hard work. You have to put in the work.
Yeah, absolutely. So what type of an agent are you looking for then? Like, let's say, for example, there's an agent right now listening. He's like, man, I want to be part of his team. Like, what is your, I guess, ideal agent avatar? Yeah.
I would like an agent that is open-minded, that is willing to learn, and has the determination to, no matter what you encounter, you're going to keep going, right? Because I think that's one of the things that, like you mentioned earlier, they think it's easy because they watch all these shows. They see him getting success immediately.
Selling Sunset.
Exactly. And it's not this. It's not like that. I mean, those people are connected, well connected. They grew up in those neighborhoods. I watch every single show, guys. I mean, if you really love your trade, $1 million listing New York, $1 million listing LA, Selling Sunset, I watch them all. Why? Because I love my trade and I want to see what other people are doing and get into their brains. I read Sell It Like Sirhan, Frederick's book too. Like, you have to really...
You're the student of the game.
Exactly.
That's what you're saying. You have to be a student of the game.
You have to.
Yeah.
Going back to when my life changed in 2009, something that clicked, I read a book called Why We Want You to Be Rich by Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki. Became a fan of the two guys. And one of the things they mention is you have to be always willing to learn. Donald Trump used to study foreclosures all the time. He was in the game. He was studying and he was learning about real estate. Like the guy was on it, right? Robert Kiyosaki too, from Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Game changer.
100%.
I read that up like 15 times.
I'm reading it again, as a matter of fact, right now.
But it's interesting because before I got my real estate license, 2013, the reason I actually started calling expireds, cancels and for sale by owners is because of Gary Keller's book, $1 Million Real Estate Agent. You know that quadrant that he has? You know,
leads, listings, and leverage.
Listings, leverage.
Yep.
For me, that was the biggest takeaway. Like, obviously, there are like really nice, cool stories, from other, top producing agents, teams, and this and that. But the biggest takeaway from that was that everything starts with the listings. When I have listings, I got leverage. So from day one, when I got my license, like I started calling listings.
Awesome.
That's it, man. Seriously. And like, it's amazing to me that like you're the student of a game, you're constantly reading, you're constantly exploring, you're constantly developing your skill, you're constantly like being like so hungry like with the information, right? And I think information is good if you can take that information and actually like
Put it to work.
Put it to work and deploy it versus taking that information and like not doing anything with it.
You can be a great student. I mean, I know people that have so much knowledge, but they don't take action.
Or they take information and then they're like, okay, I'm going to do it. And then they do it and then realize that it's not sexy anymore or the excitement wears off. And then they're like, oh, should I actually have to do the work?
And that's the funny part.
Like how many times we see people go on from one training or one seminar or one mastermind to another one, say, oh, I'm going to do this. And then literally after 2-3 weeks, they start questioning things. And then after like another week or two, they're getting discouraged. And then they wave a white flag and saying, fuck it, I'm done.
Yep. There's a friend of mine tells me, you know what? There's a million ways to make $1 million. Now you got to pick your poison, and you have to be
pick your
consistent.
poison.
Exactly, and you have to be consistent. You cannot go, like you said, from place to place, drilling oil in different places because you're never going to get
1
to
foot
it.
holes.
Just imagine that, right? But most people do that, and it's boring. Like honestly, how sexy it is to pick up the phone every single morning and get rejected. However, most people are willing to do it. That's why very few people are successful.
Yeah.
Top 5% of the people, top 4% are great. They're doing amazing. They have amazing lives. Top 1% are living like crazy lives, right? Elon Musk and all them. But they're willing to deal with the crap that we're not, most of us aren't willing to deal with it, right?
No.
So if you want to be successful, you have to be willing to, do the boring stuff, the tedious. And I'm so grateful, man, because I'm living a beautiful life and I enjoy it, but I enjoy more the game and I enjoy the journey, right? Because it's not about getting there. Because I went to a mastermind with Gary Keller, and they're like, how far are you going to keep pushing that goalpost, right? When you say, when I get there, I'll be happy. When I get there, I'll be happy. And you keep pushing it, pushing it. So you always have to be conscious about that, okay? Is it about just business?
Yeah.
Or am I going to have everything? And he mentions the wheels of life, right? Life, your relationships, your relationship with God, your health, your spouse, your kids. Like you want to take care of everything.
Yeah.
And it gives you purpose. So that's why, as you were saying earlier, I'm hungry to learn. But the more I learn, the more I realize how ignorant I am, And it's so powerful to see how much can I do? God put me in this earth for a reason, and I'm not here just to have a nice life. How can I help others? Bring them with me, and that's our goal in the team.
Hey, real quick, if you're a broker owner or a team owner and looking to grow and scale your business by bringing in more agents, i.e. recruiting more agents to your organization, I got to tell you about Modern Day Brokerage. Modern Day Brokerage is something that I started about 2 years ago with my partner, Tristan Horn, and we're currently working with 120 clients. These are broker owners. Some of them are team owners as well, where on average with our services, they hire 4 to 5 agents every single month. So if you, again, a business owner, a broker owner, or a team owner that is serious about growing your business by predictable agent attraction and recruiting methods, you can book a call with us by clicking on the link below for a free private business consultation meeting with me or one of my team members. Talk to you then. Back to the show. What does it look like then for you? Like, let's talk. Let's say, for example, you and I were like having this conversation like 5 years down the road. I don't know, how old are you? You're probably in your
45.
40s. 40, okay, I'm 46.
Okay.
You're 45 years old, right? I've been married for 24 years. I don't know how long you've been married for.
We'll be 24 this year.
24, all right. So it's going to be 25 in March.
Awesome.
Right? You have 3
Congrats.
kids. I got 3 kids. I got 2 dogs. You got 1 dog. Unfortunately,
We have 2 dogs. Yeah, no,
2 dogs
we
right
got
now.
2,
You got 2 dogs. Okay, so very similar situations, okay?
Definitely.
Where do you see yourself 5 years down the road?
I'm not going to be working as much in doing what I'm doing right now. I'm going to start developing. So we're in the works for that already. I'm going to still continue with my team because I like coaching them. And I want to
Construction? You're talking about construction?
Yeah, so I have some lots that I've been buying little by little. We're actually in the contract to buy another one right now. And I own rental properties, so we're starting a property management company. So in 5 years, I'm going to be completely out of production and just doing the developing. I'll be coaching the team. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So you want to get into the construction side of the business. Why?
I think it's something different that I want to try. And again, who knows, right? I want to see how that looks like.
Okay.
I own several rental properties. I want to keep growing my portfolio, but I also want to get into that realm and also bring others. My goal with everything that I do is not just to accumulate wealth. It's like, how can I help and bring others with me?
I love it.
How can I change other people's lives? You can only have so much money and say, you know what, I'm having the best life. What can I do with this, right? But what if you can bring others along with you and open up their minds? Let me give you an example. My father started working when he was 5 years old. He used to live up in a mountain in a hut, and 18 years of age came to the States on a train for like a week, on top, not even as a passenger. He was on top of the train. My mom used to take off her sandals from the mountain to go down to the village to get, resources because she didn't want her shoes to wear off. They came from nothing, man. So we're super blessed. And they were happy, right? So happiness, the money doesn't determine the happiness. However, for me, it's more like, what can I leave behind me that can help my community? I think that's one of the things that I want to open up their eyes to, the possibilities. Because I'm a high school dropout and I'm able to have this life. What would it look like for you guys too? How can we make you guys investors? How can we not only grow as Hispanics in numbers, but also grow in wealth? And also change our mindset, because there's a lot of bad things that we carry with us, right? Like, on the weekends, just party, they never take care of what about when I get old? And they get to the retirement years and they don't have anything. So they have to live with parents and family and all that. So it breaks my heart to see all that. So how can I make a change an impact in my community? How can I show them that maybe they can get into real estate? Maybe they can become contractors. We have a lot of people around us that we're helping develop. A couple of our friends are becoming developers too. So it's, what can you teach others and show them the path of wealth, and also to improve themselves, their situations, and our mindset? Because I think that's the biggest thing, the mindset.
Interesting. So definitely spending more time on construction, real estate development, obviously buying up more and more rental properties and all of that.
And even speaking, I think that would be another thing, the seminars that we're doing.
Seminars, coaching, possibly coaching as well,
right.
Outside of your team, you're thinking?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Personal stuff. I mean, we kind of talked about it very, very briefly. How does it look like for you? I mean, you said you go to the gym in the mornings, right? You still work out in the mornings?
I just came from hot yoga.
Yeah, hot yoga.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So Fridays I try to mix it up so it's not boring. I love hiking. So Fridays I go hiking.
Where do you hike?
I go to Payastewa, Camelback.
Camelback,
Skyline.
Really?
It's my favorite. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I love the views.
Okay, all right. So hiking, yoga, hot yoga.
Yeah.
And then what else?
I go to the gym. Sometimes I do classes, but I do my own lame workout.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I love walking. We actually do challenges with the team too. So again, we do book clubs.
Yeah.
And then we also have a 90-day mile challenge. So if you don't walk every single day, it's $100 if you don't walk at least a mile. So we do these kinds of crazy things because I want to keep them in.
Interesting. What book are you reading right now?
Why We Want You to Be Rich Again. And I'm also reading The Coaching Habit.
The Coaching Habit. I got to check that out.
It's good. My coach recommended it to me, so it's good.
Interesting. I'm reading. I just finished reading 3 Feet from Gold.
I haven't seen it.
That one. That one's a good one.
3 Feet from Gold?
Yeah, from Getting Gold or something like that. I think it's 3 Feet from Gold. So I'm reading that one. Okay. All right. So definitely, like taking care of your body, right? Family, finances.
Church. We go to church on Sundays. We haven't volunteered as much. We used to volunteer a lot more. I think that's in my heart as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
We do Bible studies on Tuesdays.
How do you like manage all of that, right? So like, man, you're a successful entrepreneur, business owner, man. You gotta obviously a team, right? You got a family. The biggest thing with entrepreneurs in general is just like managing time, right? It's like, I just don't have time. I don't have time for going to the gym, or I don't have time for my family, or I don't have time for this. I don't have time. How do you find time?
You have to block your schedule, and one of the things that I have to work a little harder, and I know people see us on social media, and we spend time with the family. Yet I still have that itch of the phone, so I need to work on that a little harder, because every now and then I pick up the phone with my wife, and I think that's disrespectful. So that's one of the things that I have to work on. So I'm not perfect. I mean, by all means, I have to work on so many things. However, one of the things and one of the books that also allowed me to change a lot was The Power of Habit and Atomic Habits, which
James Clear.
exactly. So you have to make habits, and I cannot go a day without working out. I can't. I just don't
So
feel
you work
good.
out 7 days a week.
Yeah,
Good for you.
So I get up, I go for a walk, even if I walk just for a mile. That's it. I mean, I did something, right? So then spending time, like Fridays, I don't work. My wife's in Mexico right now, but I have my habit of going to yoga. I'm going to work because he's not here. So I'm going to go to an appointment right after this. But Saturday, Sundays for church, family, and that's it.
Yeah.
So blocking your schedule, I think that's one of our Achilles too. Like we sometimes don't know when to stop.
Yeah.
So we have to set parameters. And right at 6, I turn off my phone. If
You
call
turn
me-
off your phone.
Yeah, if you call
Just
me,
put
I'm
it
going
on
to answer.
silent, or you turn it off. Like
No, I put it on silence, but I don't
silent.
respond.
That's it. Yeah, I'm the same exact way. After 6 o'clock, I put it on silent. Not even vibrating or anything like that. I just put it on silent.
Exactly. I mean, if someone's dying, they have to call 911, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
everything can wait for the next day. If it's a business call, I mean, everything's closed already, so we can't do anything.
So how many days are you in office? 4 days?
4 days.
4 days. So Monday to Thursday. Friday is kind of like your day, taking care of yourself, a few errands here and there, right? And then I think you said Friday nights are the date nights.
The whole day. So we get
the
up in the
whole day.
morning, we go to yoga together, we go to the gym, shower, go to the steam room. It's like my me day.
Interesting.
Yeah, so every day I go to the gym and I go to the steam room and I do. This is my ritual.
Your wife is not in a business though, right?
No.
She's not. Okay.
She's been a stay-home wife it's been good because she stayed with the girls.
24 years, yeah.
Yeah. And the other day she told me that she's having the time of her life and because she's doing what she loves. So it kind of took me back because I was wanting her to join my business, but when she told me that, I cannot be selfish and just bring her in, right? I mean, I have to respect that. So she enjoys having her house in great shape all the time, and I love it because everything's in its place. My food is ready when I get home, and I mean, we are a team, right?
Yeah,
we're a marriage,
for sure.
we're a team, we're a business.
Yeah. Well,
And
she's got a full-time job, raising kids, running a household. Like that's a full-time job.
It's a lot of work.
Freaking job. Yeah, absolutely. No, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, man. Wow. Anything else that I should ask you that I didn't ask?
No, I think I want to thank you for the opportunity to sit down here with you. It seems like we're kind of on the same path, and I appreciate that. And sometimes we sound crazy to some people, right? I always tell my team, read this book, read that book. He's like, how do you find time? I'm like, when I get up in the morning, put my AirPods, I'm preparing my stuff, and I'm listening to a book. I listen to my devotional, Darren Hardy, and every single day is the ritual, right? And it's my time.
That's your routine?
4 in the morning, nobody's calling me.
Yeah.
5, 6.
Oh, so you wake up at 4.
Get up at
I wake
4.
at 5.
Okay.
Interesting. So you wake up at 4.
Yeah.
What time do you go to sleep?
Sometimes 10, 11.
So I go to sleep at between 9:30 and 10 o'clock, and I wake up at 5.
But I'm changing it up a little bit. I've been for the last 2 months. I've been getting up like around 5:30 because I noticed that I was getting brain fog, and it's because I'm not sleeping enough.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, and I feel a lot better.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bed earlier now. So it's helping.
Excellent. Well, listen. Where can the audience, the agents, find you? Socials?
They can find me on social media.
Juan Grimaldo.
On Instagram is Juanito C. Grimaldo. So Juanito C. Grimaldo.
Okay, we got that.
And Facebook is Juan Grimaldo.
Grimaldo. Okay.
Yes.
Any other social media channels?
We have YouTube, the Grimaldo Group.
Okay, got it. All right, awesome.
That's it. At Twitter, don't get in there because I'm political, like I said. You may not like me about it.
Maybe it's the next episode. We're going to be talking about politics. How about that?
And you know what? That's something I don't keep my mouth shut. But it's good.
Yeah.
You got to have convictions too,
You have to.
Yeah.
That's it. You got to attract your tribe.
And you have to be, that's another thing. Like I cannot be a hypocrite. If I'm showing you homes or if I'm listing your home and you ask me, I'm going to tell you. If you don't want to work with me, I tell people it's like a relationship. If we don't like each other, why are we together?
I agree.
Now we can have conversations. We don't have to be enemies. We can have different points of views and respect each other. But it's a little tough sometimes. I'm cool. Like
so what are your thoughts on the current situation that we're dealing with?
Like I mentioned to you, Donald Trump changed my life in 2009, and people think that we became fans of that guy now because of the political, what he says.
Yeah.
You got to see what people do, not what they say. And I've seen his life.
Yeah.
And I've seen his kids.
Yeah.
And I aspire to be that.
Yeah. He's a builder.
Exactly. He's a businessman. He's also an
he's
OBS guy. You want to be able to, especially in New York, you can't be a softie, dude. You can't.
No. I grew up in New York. I grew up in New York. No, I
Well, you
can,
know.
yeah, shit.
Well, I grew up in Mexico in the terrible neighborhood. Most of my friends are dead or in jail. So like, you have to be tough.
Yeah.
And sometimes people don't get that because you have to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
So I'm assuming you're voting for
Trump?
For
Oh, yeah,
Trump.
100%.
Okay. All right. Right. What if he doesn't win?
I'd be very disappointed, but we'll see. You know what? Biden won and Kamala this time.
Yeah.
This is what people wanted. You got what you wanted. If you want it again, great. We're going to do our thing no matter what.
Life goes on, right?
Because and then people get hung up on that. Well, what's going to happen? Well, you got to do your thing because they're not going to come here and save you. Either way, it's like the sports, right?
So what you're saying is nobody's going to save you.
Exactly.
Nobody's going to save you.
Nobody. And just like sports, I don't follow sports. What kind of sports do you like?
I only watch football, and I watched the team that hasn't really won anything for many. But they played yesterday. Giants, New York Football Giants. That's the only team that I watch.
Do you play in that team?
No.
Do you? I mean, so in reality,
I just
if they
watch
win,
it, but I'm not like a fanatic. I mean, I'm not wearing somebody's jerseys or none of that stuff.
So I'm the same way. Like, this is my team. I like my team. I would vouch for my team. Would I kill for them? I would kill for my country, right? I think this place is worth saving it. I'm a high school dropout from Mexico. I can tell you we're in the best place in the world. We just came back from Italy. We went to Spain last year. Trust me, those are beautiful countries. People fantasize about them. You're living a better life here, buddy.
Hell yeah.
100%.
I know.
They have no clue. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And they're relaxed.
Yeah.
But they're broke.
They broke.
100%.
And they drive very small cars.
Yep. Very tiny cars. So you see what I'm going? Like,
Yeah.
I can attest.
Honestly, I think a middle class person here is like considered to be like a well off rich person in most of the Europe.
Yep.
Don't you agree?
Yeah. Most people make like 400 euros and their rent's about the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly.
So, and yes, they rest. They take their siestas, but they're broke.
Sure, they're broke.
And we have some. That's why this freedom to me is dear to my heart. In Mexico, they're going downhill. Same direction as Venezuela and Cuba.
It's interesting, but my neighbor, he's actually selling his house. He's moving to Cancun. And he's well off. He's well off. I mean, he exited his multi-million-dollar company. He's well off. I'm not going to mention his name or anything like that. But like, he's moving at the end of November. He's moving to Mexico, Cancun.
Beautiful.
And it's like, dude, I bought a $1.8 million house there. I bought a lot. We're in a guarded community with like guards with actual like rifles, right? And he's going to have a chauffeur, like he's going to have a driver. I was like, why do you need a driver? He's like, well, like if you turn in the wrong street or whatever it is, like it's no fun. I was like, why would you want to live in a place where like you have to be like having a driver, making sure you're
alert.
like so alert and everything? I was like, yeah, but he's like, there's so many opportunities there, and then also it's like the living style and just the beach and like the food and everything else is just so much better than the United States. He
It's
says.
paradise. It's a beautiful place. That's one of my places that I would go. But again, I will see how this
Would
is
you
going to pan
live there
out.
though?
Now, I don't know if I would, because now you have someone running the country like Maduro in Venezuela.
Yeah.
So if you follow politics, you see where I'm going, Cuba, right? So they don't like the
So
rich.
in Mexico, you're talking about you got a socialist who's running the show.
And another socialist just won.
Yeah.
And they actually control the whole government, all the senators and Congress around the country. And then the narcos are doing a beautiful...
I came to this country in 1990 on a Christmas day. I came from a former Soviet Union.
Okay.
So I understand.
Well, you know communism.
I know the communism. I know the socialism. I know the top-down approach. Like all of that, I went through it. Now
You've heard it. You lived it.
I lived it. My dad actually like spent 10 years in prison there.
Why?
In former for nothing.
You can say the wrong thing and you go to jail.
For nothing.
Exactly.
For nothing. By saying something wrong that anywhere else it would be just a slap.
And that's why people need to don't listen to me. Pay attention, but don't listen to the news. Watch and see what the actual candidates are doing or not doing. They're not even going to interviews, right? So you want to pay attention to what they're saying and what they're doing, because when they want to price, they say price gouging. They did it to the lenders back with Dodd-Frank.
Price controls.
And then they did it to the doctors with Obamacare.
With Obamacare, yeah.
So, but people don't pay attention to this stuff. Oh, it's going to be lower healthcare.
Yeah.
Well, why do we spend all this money now? If you don't want to get me there, like there's another book I'm reading it right now. It's called The Lord of Easy Money. The Lords of Easy Money.
Okay.
The money is printed. They were asking the other day why. That's this guy. I'm speaking Spanish now. The President Bukele from El Salvador was here.
Yeah.
And he says, "Why are you guys paying taxes? Don't they print money? Why do you have to give them money when they're printing money?"
Yeah.
And when you read that book...
Is he the guy that is all in on crypto or something like that? He's the one who's like got all the crypto like transactions and everything like that. You see the guy?
Yeah,
That's the country, only
Bukele?
country. Bukele, right?
He's like
right.
Trump, but in
Yeah,
El Salvador.
got it, yeah.
And I went to El Salvador, by the way, for a mission trip this year.
Okay, how is it?
You used to not be able to walk on the streets without
Right.
getting robbed.
Right.
Clean. That guy put everybody in jail.
Yeah.
And he says, well,
I heard he would just send everybody here.
no,
No?
he kept them from
They're still in
here. They
jail?
sent all the criminals back
Yeah.
to all the La Mara Salvatrucha, which were the criminals.
Yeah.
They sent them to Salvador, and they were wreaking havoc.
Yeah.
They were basically controlling the whole country. But now this guy went in and tightened it up, and it's controversial.
Yep.
Yet it's pretty safe now. You can walk on the streets and not
El
be worried
Salvador,
about getting.
really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But again, that's a whole different side of me that I.
We're going to talk more about it. All right, brother. Listen, I appreciate your time. I very much enjoyed, and hopefully we'll do it again, man.
Let's do it.
All right.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Take care, guys.
Take care.
Hey, thanks for listening to our conversation. I hope you like it. Now, if you want to see more of the same type of content on your feed, here's what you got to do. Hit subscribe or hit like, and hopefully I'll see you again in the future.